across this country, over 77 million adults volunteered through the 2018. And at that 77 million, there are over 4 million volunteers who dedicate more than 295 million hours of their service to various organizations. This resulted in over $7 billion of service contributed. Think about that. You know, as taxes are going up, we're paying more for stuff. If it wasn't for the volunteers, you know how much more we'd be paying in taxes or for services that get done in this county? People couldn't survive. And the difference, whatever you do, makes a difference in someone's life. Doesn't matter. One of the reasons, you know, I was honored when I took over as county executive doing deceased veterans. And we recognize them every month, someone that served their country, rightfully so. And then I started realizing, I started talking to people in the audience. I'm like, oh, how'd you know that, you know, this person? I didn't. I just met them at the VFW Post, American Legion, or they did something to change my life. And I'm like, so I just wanted to come out and honor them. I go, oh, did you ever tell them that? No. And I'm like, it would have been nice while they're alive to hear that. And that's when I started doing Honor Vet. And it's the same thing with this program. It's, again, I know you're not doing this for the pats on the back. You're not doing this for the certificates. You're not doing this to be recognized. But it's nice to take time out of our lives and say, take a step back in our busy lives and say, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything that you've done and continue to do in this community, not just to help the people you do, but inspiring the next generation of people to step up into your shoes and saying, look, I have the time. We're always busy. You know, you can sit there and say, I work 7 days a week, I work part-time jobs, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. But you can make time. And you can always, you know, turn that TV off or instead of taking that afternoon nap, go out and do something differently to help somebody. Especially when you see people struggling, just to listen sometimes, just to help them. That's what it's about. That's what I love about this place.
Over the years, she has been there countless times for us to show her support again and again. Every year, Deanna finds new ways to help us. She raises awareness for IPH. She engages new community groups. She helps our auction grow and our committee grow stronger. She's creative. She's kind. She's generous. At IPH, her crafting kit is legendary. We talk about it all the time. She brings her skills and always her supplies with her to help us out. Deanna absolutely sparkles when she puts our auction together for us and she leads our crew. We have over 200 items that Deanna carefully packages and makes beautiful and show-worthy for our incredible auction. Her creative energy is so strong that you pull our group together and stronger every year. But your kind spirit is stronger and you make us smile through it all. This year, Deanna had a vision to show our homeless guests something special. And she pulled her group together and made new handmade pillowcases. She engaged her network and they made the most beautiful special pillowcases that I've ever seen. They were so colorful and gorgeous. And they brightened up our dorms and they showed our guests how much others cared for them. I'm honored to work alongside Deanna, to learn from her. She displays determination and commitment and patience. She always pauses to teach me how to tie a ribbon or sew a pillowcase. And we are so, so grateful for your volunteerism and for your friendship. From all of us at IPH, the staff, the board, the committee, and all of our guests, we just say thank you.
Thank you to the county executive and to the staff of Interfaith Partnership for the Homeless for nominating me for this award. Although I feel somewhat awkward about receiving this recognition alone because I'm actually part of a team of hardworking individuals who create irresistible and successful silent auction items each year by soliciting, organizing, embellishing. There are actually 8 of us, and I don't believe I shine in any way. I'm simply the bossiest in the group. They are Stephanie Haddock, Marianne Jablanowski, Judy Doherty, Anissa Hussein, Tamara Slater, Angela Stritt, Gail Kufel, Kathy Clark-Rogerson. Volunteering doesn't necessarily require a long-term or a scheduled commitment. There are one-time opportunities to volunteer in our community. Pillowcase Day last month gave many people the opportunity to learn about Interfaith Partnership for the Homeless and volunteer a few hours of time and skill. This year, for Pillowcase Day, the Fresenda family opened the doors of their business, Albany Sewing, and gave several people the opportunity to help out and learn more about Interfaith Partnership for the Homeless. Along with my coworkers, Albany Sewing, they're great volunteer partners. They provided support for me. They donated fabrics, equipment, supporting personnel, sewing machines, and the time and teaching for anyone who wanted to volunteer for a few hours. People are still, that was 6 weeks ago, and people are still dropping off pillowcases at Albany Sewing that we are going to forward to Interfaith Partnership for the Homeless, and we'll continue to do that. Long-term residents of Albany County share a sense of deep roots and community, a feeling of shared history and belonging to a unique and comfortable community. For a short time, I was a resident of another county, and it just didn't feel right. There were no beds of...
Say it again, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I thought you might perk that up. It was like being in a foreign land where I didn't belong. There were no beds of tulips to be celebrated. There was no St. Patrick's Day parade, and there were no challenges to Parallel Park. So I returned. And during the moving process, I recall turning the corner from Buckingham Drive onto New Scotland Avenue and audibly saying, home. There are people struggling to be residents of Albany County. They're trying. Interfaith Partnership gives them the tools and support to make that happen with dignity. The staff and volunteers at IPH are truly an outstanding group. I call them the big thinkers because their ideas and visions bubble up from small ideas into events as big as a Taste of Albany that is now attended by about 800 people. I said that. And they never miss an opportunity to let volunteers know how much they're appreciated and how valuable our talents are to them. Thank you again to the Interfaith Partnership for the Homeless for nominating me, and to County Executive McCoy for selecting me.
We got a couple things for you. We have our county coin for you,
Oh, thank you.
which I'll leave in the bag for you. And then there's a county pin in there. So thank you.
Thank
We
you
got-
so much.
Proclamation.
Oh, wow, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well
Thanks.
deserved.
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
David has been instrumental in developing a plan, obtaining bids, and negotiating contracts for the renovation of our worship space. Whether David is changing a light bulb, measuring for carpet, or meeting with vendor executives, he is a man of refinement, generosity, honesty, and integrity. David is also a man of action. I remember one pastoral council meeting when we were discussing painting projects, and it was suggested that the bottom outside area of the school building should be painted. The very next morning, there was David on his hands and knees with a drop cloth and paint, painting the bottom of the school building. He got it done. I think David has also painted every office, every room in our office at St. Clair's. Just last week, we were planning to change the carpet in the chapel. In comes David with 27 different samples of carpet. Of course, none of them satisfied the expectations of the decorating committee. So the very next day, in came David with several more. That's David. He stays with things until it's done, and it's done right. David has been at every spring cleanup day for more than 20 years, fixing and raking and cleaning up. He is also a man who empowers women. Last year, at our spring cleanup day, I was trying to clip an unruly hedge with hand clippers. David came over and handed me a power trimmer and said, "This is what you do." And he gave me a quick lesson and sent me out with that power tool to trim that hedge. For me and for Pam, as women in church leadership, David Eads has helped us look beyond the now, to vision a future and plan for goals. His words of encouragement and empowerment show the staff and myself that volunteers work for the kind of community they want to live in. He shows all of us that volunteers bring out the very best in everyone and in every event. I believe it was Winston Churchill who said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." David has given the most precious resource in life, the gift of time, his time. He serves as a consultant and mentor, resource, and friend to all that he meets. It is truly impossible to count the number of hours that he has given to this community. David has made a difference in all our lives. Mr. McCoy, I thank you and your staff for the opportunity to honor and recognize this truly humble man who serves in quiet humility and represents all the ideals of volunteerism. Because of the time and talent of Mr. David Eads, St. Clair's and the community of Colony are truly blessed.
We are all a part of God's family. We are all related to one another. And family helps family. God has been very good to my family, and I have just tried to pay back a small part of what we have been given. To become a volunteer requires a first step. It is a step out of your comfort zone. You are going to accomplish things that you never expected. None of us knew what we were getting into when we first started, but we took that step. Volunteering is a learn-on-the-job experience. You are going to go where you have never gone before. Take the step. Break out of your comfort zone. You will be rewarded with warmth, satisfaction, community, and a great sense of accomplishment. You will gain so much more than you give. Take that step and be a volunteer. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh my gosh, thank you very much.
Thank you for everything you do. Appreciate it. Our next honoree is someone that gives back to the community in a variety of ways, but most importantly, being a volunteer fireman or fire police, people don't realize, you're giving up valuable time with your family to give back to your community day in, day out. You could be home Christmas morning and get that fire call, and you can't just say, hey, I'm going to ignore it because I'm unwrapping presents, or you're having that turkey dinner, or you're just having that special occasion at home. And you go and answer the call, and you drop everything that you're doing, be it if it's 3 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They give back to the community, and they are not just a fabric of that community, they do so many other things than just answering EMS calls and car accidents or fire calls, whatever it might be. They do stuff in the community, also on a variety of stuff through the fire departments to give back.
On behalf of Tom Bergen, our Chief of Department, and Rich Barletti, our President and CEO, I'd like to express our appreciation to the County Executive for the opportunity to recognize and introduce Steve. Steve has made a significant impact on our company and the Latham community. He volunteers hundreds of hours, giving tirelessly of his time and talent. Steve is one of our top responders. He's in charge of our weekly duty crew program, leading a group of firefighters handling emergency calls throughout the town of Colony. He assists in training and teaching our members the necessary principles of fire suppression and emergency response in a practical and safe manner. Steve also lends his professional expertise to our company. We're making significant financial commitment to our technology upgrades and infrastructure around the fire department. Utilizing his IT expertise, he's in charge of a team of our young members programming and implementing upgrades to both communications and technologies around the fire department. We're most fortunate to have Steve on our team. He makes our department better. We thank him and Aaron for his dedication, commitment, and service to the residents of Latham. Steve Leeper.
I want to thank the county executive and his staff, President Barletti, Vice President Whitelaw, and Chief Bergen, and most importantly, my wife. She has experienced countless times where I have left in the middle of dinner, while making dinner, and she graciously, without any complaint, just has dealt with that for quite some time. And it's not ending anytime soon, so hope you're used to that. I'm so glad to be here with so many great volunteers. The fire service has been a part of my life for so long, and it's not even something I think twice about. I think all of us really should spend some time wherever we can. You know, for me, it's the fire service. For other people, it's different organizations. But I think it's so critical to being a member of a community. I know in the fire service, there are so many people that when they call 911, they don't think about the fact that there are dozens and dozens of people that are dropping what they're doing to come serve them and help them in their time of need without even thinking about it. And it's been an honor of mine to be able to take what I do as a day job and contribute that to our organization. With a lot of volunteer organizations, they always need people from different areas of the professional world to bring their experiences in to make those successfully run organizations. I know much with Latham and all the other organizations that are represented here, we're always looking for more people, and it's an honor to receive this award. So thank you very much.
Has a point. Thank you. One of the backbones of any community is the church, and here we are recognizing two. And anytime there's a problem in the community, they pretty much know before we do. And when we put our opiate task force together, and not to get off course, and we're meeting today, the first thing I said, let's get our clergy involved, because they know what's going on. They know of a teen's being lost or adults having an issue. They pretty much know before we do, and we can address that issue sooner. And I do want to thank the pastor for everything that they do day in and day out to make things happen in the community, and take it outside the church and really just go into a community and make a difference in kids' lives and give them that sparkle of hope at the end of the day, to give them an opportunity when, everything's mounting against them. And that happens. I mean, sometimes we don't take the time to say, look at that pressure that person has in their life. To not only show and give them hope that being kind and doing things in the community can make a community better, but inspire them to be better.
The bottom line is, when you look at our volunteer and our recipient of this award today, and thanks to the county executive and his staff, Brittany just tells you exactly what's happening. Now, obviously, she's done so much for us. We're very fortunate to be involved in a program that she'll be offering. We call it the Fifth Sunday. And you have to just see it in action to believe what goes on. We just put together a program at West End Park, now called Veterans Memorial, like the county executive stated. It's so important that we give back to our veterans. Our community has given back as much as we possibly can give, and we're prepared to do more.
Like Deanna had said, I take this award and receive it on behalf of the entire church community that I lead. At Spindle City Vineyard Church, we believe that God has called us to love our entire community, every single person, every single street, every block. And so what we do throughout the course of the year is simply go out and extend to him everything that he's extended to us. Our campaign, or our motto, is Love Cahos, because we want to see our city thriving and growing and developing. And that means coming alongside, and maybe it's picking up garbage on the side of the road, or it's serving at Veterans Park, or perhaps it's just being there for our neighbors when there's a fire and there's a need. We don't know what's going to happen, but I know that when we come alongside them and when we show them that they are cared for, that they are worthy, that they're valued and loved, then our city grows stronger day by day. And so I thank you for recognizing me, but really I stand before you as we're not even a large church. There's about 85 of us, and from the ages of 0 to John's probably 94 now. We like to go out and serve together. And so we thank you for recognizing us, but really it's just who we are because it's what God's done for us. So thank you. Thank you.
Bill, for your leadership role in a variety of different community organizations and inspiring the next, and if you notice, like, we're always inspiring the next people to step up and to do extraordinary things. I can't thank you enough. And it is the backbone of different organizations and communities that you have run, Bill, that has inspired them to go forward, has inspired them to do extraordinary things and continue to move on. But I do want to bring up Linda to talk about all the great things that you did and why she nominated you.
Bill serves as a volunteer and as the board president and has served in STARS Intergen Corp. For the past 22 years. He serves as the first president of the board, and he is continuing now to serve as the board president 22 years later. He has served in that position for 14 years. While he has been in that position, he's also been able to, in the beginning, convince the school district to take on this program as something that is worthwhile, serving not only children and seniors living in the community, but to help teachers in the classrooms. So within this program, we have placed volunteers in classrooms assisting teachers from pre-K all the way up to the 12th grade. And right now, Bill is one of the people to continue to have a vision for this program to grow. You might think it's nothing to see a volunteer in a classroom today because parents go in, grandparents go in, but these are people that have committed part of their day every week to go in and serve children. And what they do is they end up having relationships in a very healthy, giving way. And Bill has been the one to support these volunteers and these relationships. He was the one to convince the school district to be able to look at the needs of children and the educational system and to see the importance of volunteers within the school system. It's so important that, in fact, our superintendent of schools is here today, Dr. Brian Bailey, who is also here to support Bill and his wife Sheila, because I know without people like this, there couldn't be a STARS Intergen program.
The STARS Intergen program is unique in what it provides for our community. What started out as four senior citizens working in one building to now being over 40, almost 50 volunteers working not only in all our school districts, school district buildings, but in our community. We have a board. We are a 501c3, so we have a volunteer board of directors, and it reflects what we have in the program. We have senior citizens who are board members, we have students who are board members, and we have community members who are board members. Tutoring is a major component of our program. We do things in the senior high school building. We do things in the middle school now. We do things in the a senior living apartment complex in the community, Van Allen board. Talked about tutoring. Actually, Linda said everything for me. I don't know why. So I'll just kind of ramble, but I have, as said, it's been, over 20 years that I've been involved with this program. I try to, limit the terms, but it doesn't happen. I'm still there. We have homework clubs. We have done ballroom dancing for children, just for socialization. We've done community service projects with other programs in the area. We also work hand in hand with Albany County with a Field Foundation grant that we have, where we look at people in need in Albany County and provide them with the materials and the equipment that they need and to improve their quality of life. And that's just what it's all about.
It's in there.
It's in there? Okay.
Yeah, it's in there.
You can't
Trust
use
me.
that at the slot machine.
No, it's not gonna help you.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, it's extraordinary to stand here to recognize everyone for different things. And in each part of it's a fabric of who I am and who the county is. And this next one really says a lot. She's given over 1,000 of call-in hours to individuals on numerous services through Albany County Crime Victims and Sexual Violence Center. And I would love to stand here someday and say we don't have this part of our county departments, but we do. And it's just not women, it's men too. And it's harder for a man to come forward with it than a woman in certain cases because of the stigma that you gotta be this tough person. I remember when a certain hospital was cutting out rape kits at the emergency room, and we came up with the money and the volunteers that go and help people get through that. And not saying that the hospitals weren't sensitive to their needs, but they didn't understand it, or they just got so many other things going on, and it's the phone conversations that get you through it, not fully through it, but lets the people know that you have someone in this county you can lean on in your most difficult, dark time in your life. And, there's services there to help you get through this.
So, when we find somebody like Anna who really is willing to lean into this work, it's truly such a gift. She had to, in order to do this, she had to complete a 35-hour training course to become a New York State Department of Health certified rape crisis counselor, and since then she has provided crisis intervention, counseling, support to survivors of sexual violence via phone and in person at local emergency departments and police stations. And we consistently receive overwhelmingly positive feedback about Anna's compassionate and empathetic advocacy for survivors of sexual violence in our local emergency departments. She is really a true advocate for survivors. One of the other things that we appreciate so much about Anna is that she is willing to always be in communication with us and talk about what's going on with her, let us know when she needs to take a break for some self-care, which might sound silly, but, you can't really do this work unless you're being open, I guess, with, your supervisors, whoever else you're working with. If you can't be open with them, you burn out really quickly. So the fact that Anna is so willing and able to, communicate with us and be open with us is really very appreciated. And since her start with us, she's completed over 1,000 on-call hours, which is a tremendous achievement. The on-call shifts are, for the ones that Anna usually does, would be overnight, so from 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. or 12 a.m. to 7 a.m. or over the weekend. So that's a really big and really generous commitment, and we're very grateful. Her dedication and commitment to the field of sexual violence and the work that we do is empowering and inspiring to not only the survivors that she helps in the hospital, but also to everyone in my office and our other volunteers. So I'm very pleased to give this award to Anna today.
I want to thank Erin, Amanda, I want to thank Valerie, I want to thank every single volunteer that we have who runs the hotline and who goes to ER calls, because it's not easy work. I'm not going to get emotional, I'm going to try not to. And they just do a really great job there. And what you said, they're so compassionate about helping people. It's just very heartwarming. It's heartwarming to see the 6 other volunteers in front of me today who are changing other people's lives and affecting their communities in such a positive manner. I'm sorry, I'm a crybaby. I have 4 siblings and I'm the crybaby. So I want to thank my parents. No, I'm the middle. Yeah, I want to thank my parents for supporting me in everything I do. When I was 8 years old and I told them I wanted to be a pharmacist, they were like, okay, most kids say astronaut, but maybe we can do this. And then 10 years later, when I said I wanted to help at the center, they were like, that's okay. I don't know. I love working with them. I love going to the office. I love everything they do. Every event, Take Back the Night, when we were doing one for like survivor kits, it's just really great stuff. And I love that I have the opportunity to work with them and they give me that opportunity to help the community. I want to thank my girlfriend, Sam, for letting me vent, because sometimes I just need to. And I want to thank everyone here today for coming out and celebrating just Albany County and everything that these wonderful volunteers in front of me do to help out, because it's really great stuff. Thank you.
Our last honoree has inspired kids, not just through music, but through poetry, which is powerful. Words are powerful. You know, they can hurt you, or they can heal you, or they can inspire you. And poetry can do all three, depending on what you want to read. But same with music. And what you do day in, day out for children is just extraordinary, like the other six of you, you know. There's always ways, and the thing I like about this group right here that we're recognizing, each and one of individual here has done something differently to give back to their community, from be it the church, Taste of Albany, crime victims, him paying for our lunch, pastor by inspirational words, but leadership in the community, being a volunteer fireman. It just really says a lot. But it says a lot what you have done, and and I can't thank you.
I'm delighted to be here today to celebrate Kendall Williams' service and all of your service in the community. Kendall is an AmeriCorps Vista Fellow with the Siena College program. It's a national initiative that's about 50 plus years old that places individuals at nonprofit organizations to build program capacity and have a positive impact on the community. Kendall is currently finishing up his second year of service. He initially signed up for 1 year. It's a full-time, 35-hour commitment with the Boys and Girls Club of Albany. There, he developed a program to inspire low-income youth to write poetry and to help them improve their literacy skills. Well, he had so much fun with the kids in Albany that he chose to serve a second year, this time with Community Miracles in Action in Cohoes, a fledgling organization with great goals but few resources. Building on his experience and passion, Kendall, working with CMA's Executive Director, Crystal Alessio, he created Louder Dreams program to encourage Albany County youth to channel their frustration in new and positive ways, writing lyrics and creating music. As a result, their songs are not about poverty or street violence, but about their aspirations and plans for a great future. CMA has just celebrated its first anniversary, and every evening in their small space, it is packed with 15 to 25 young people eager to make their voices and dreams heard. Kendall's hard work and dedication to Albany County youth is extraordinary. He continuously seeks to solve old issues with new innovative solutions. He is an asset to this county. But he does a lot more. He presented for our undergraduate students at our summer Gear Up this past August during their orientation, and he shared his love of music, his love of service, and it was just his enthusiasm is infectious. I just saw him on Tuesday when he shared his work at CMA with the Colony Town Supervisor, Paula Mahan, and his fellow Siena Vistas. His giving of his time is very generous. He's a great representative of what the AmeriCorps Vista program is all about. At our center, we have a poster, and there's an old quote on it. It says, "Everyone can be great because everyone can serve." But not everyone chooses to serve. Kendall is one of those committed, brave individuals who has chosen to show his greatness through service. And we are all so grateful that you have.
So being at Community Miracles in Action with the children, we were able, Crystal and I were able to team up and, design programs to install something that could give them, some inspiration. And Louder Dreams, the program that we have, has the teens come and they get to express themselves through music. And I'm very passionate about music. I make music myself. Small story, years back, I saw a psychic, and I didn't seek the psychic. I was pulled off the street, and the psychic told me, "I like to read your palm," and I was like, "I don't believe in that. I'm sorry." So I tried to walk on, but they says, "Can I tell you one thing about yourself, and maybe you'll stop to just hear me out?" So I said, "Okay, I'll listen." And they said, "You love to entertain. You're into music," and I was like, "Whoa!" So I sat down and I listened. One thing that struck me when the psychic was talking to me, she says, "You're going to inspire people one day, and you're going to make an impact." And I I heard it, but I didn't think of it as years progressed. And now that I'm standing here today, thank you all for honoring me to be that testament to actually inspire and impact young kids. Because with the help of my PIC partner in Cohoes, Crystal Alessio, we are able to have now about 36 teens that come to our organization to, make music, create social development. And they have a wonderful time there. And if you're ever stopping Cohoes, you can come and see us. We're on Ontario Street, 289 Ontario Street, CMA, and it's just a great time. And I'm just delighted every time that I see them, because now I'm vicariously living through them with the passion that I have. And the youth, they are rosebuds in our community, and we need to nourish them so they can blossom, into a beautiful garden of our community. So let's continue to, direct them, guide them, and thank you for just having that strength so we can make a change. Thank you.
But again, to what you do in the community, thank you. This is an honor to recognize you. It's an honor to highlight the people in our community, again, that do extraordinary things, and I do hate to say this, live quiet lives, and that's okay. But to let the 7 of you know the inspiration you give to so many people, just look behind you. And not just the people that are in the room, the people every day that you talk to and interact with and do different things. So I do want to say thank you, and give you a round of applause.